Welcome to the Little Rock Basketball Coaches Show, presented by Stevens.
We greet you on this Martin Luther King holiday. Absolute beautiful moon out there. Nice winter night, and we're inside at the Embassy Suites in Little Rock and West Little Rock. And if you get an opportunity, we'll be here for the next hour. Joe Foley and Daryl Walker, the men's and women's head basketball coach at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, will be our guest tonight, as is the norm on the Coaches Show. We'll start with Joe Foley tonight. Coach Foley, you finally, after over a month, got to play a couple of games, as a matter of fact.
Yes, we did, and it was kind of unique. It felt like we were starting over, and I don't know what to really expect whenever we went out there. And sure enough, about the first 7 minutes looked like we had never played before. I mean, we hit a basket or two right off the bat.
Well, you up 4-0, and then there was a drought.
There was a big drought, and timing was way off, and you expect that. And but after about 7 or 8 minutes, I thought we started playing pretty decent. And defensive-wise, I thought we played a real good basketball game, held 50 points. They've been averaging, 80-something points a game. And I thought our defense carried us through the whole game. And if it went overtime, I don't think we'd have ever made it. I think we'd had to call the ambulance because we were done. We couldn't hit a shot. We were getting good shots, but the legs were gone. And our defense held us and, held us up to the cause, and we got a good stop at the end and won the ball game. And then, unfortunately, the next game, it was kind of like I was talking last week. Kids are way out of shape. And, unfortunately, I said it could cause a lot of injuries. And, unfortunately, we lost KV, and it doesn't look good for her coming back either.
All right, you won the game against Coastal Carolina on Thursday evening, 54-50. Let's talk a bit about that. You got off to a slow start, but you led by one at the half.
We did, and like I say, after the first 6 or 7 minutes, I thought we had pretty good movement, took care of the ball pretty well, and played a real good defensive game and doing well, holding their big kid down. Their big kid had really been scoring a lot of points. KV did a good job on her. And come back out the second half, got off to a pretty good run and got a little bit of a lead, about an 8 or 9 point lead, and doing a good job on both ends. And then, like I say, I think about the last 5 minutes, we started missing some easy shots that I think we would have hit if we'd, had some conditioning. But, I kind of expected that. And, I was just hoping we could get out of there with the W. And, if you told me we were going to win after being off a month, I'd have said there's no way. But we did get a W.
Well, I was able to sit in the first half with our good friend Trey Shapp, who does your broadcast. And I had to leave at the half. And I told him, I said, hey, Trey, I did my part. We're up by one. You carry the baton. And yeah. He did.
He did. And Trey's like you. You guys are about the biggest homers we got. I love you. And, it was good. It was good to be back on the floor. The kids naturally want to play. But, there's a lot of things we've got to work on. And, it's just one of those situations until they get to see it in game situation. You can talk about it in practice. And, some of those kids only practice 2 days full court. I mean, you've been off for a month and only practice 2 days full court. You're not going to be, at your prime. And we got to take these next 5 weeks and see if we can get ourselves back in shape and hopefully be able to play by the time the tournament rolls around and be a good team.
There are 3 teams on the women's side who have only played 2 games. Little Rock is one, App State is the one, and South Alabama. They only played two games. You've got a number of teams that already played 5.
Well, that's the inequity right now, and we talked last week about who's testing, who's not testing, who's doing what, and there's a lot of that leads to that. And, so we lost, just like Coach Walker lost a lot of kids, and we lost every kid we had but 2 and had to sit out for over, 7 or 8 days. And, we still ain't got 1 or 2 of them back. So, we're hoping to get them back this week and try to, like I say, we had a hard practice today on Monday's about the only day that we can really practice hard and try to get that conditioning back. And then Tuesday you got to start getting ready for the next team. And, Wednesday, the day before, you sure don't want to kill them. And then Friday, you're in between games, so there's no way you can really do a whole lot. So Mondays are going to be our days to kind of work on conditioning and try to get them. And I'm sure the kids will be a little sore tomorrow. But yesterday, today was about the first day we really got to run sprints and things like that.
If you would talk a little bit about the process and when somebody does test positive, what things start to snowball, what happens?
Well, if they've been vaccinated and your teams, most of your teams, the ones that's been vaccinated, if you just got to take them out, and now you're down to 5 days. But people don't realize that it takes a while to get the doctor. Everybody has to have the heart deal evaluated again after they get back, so it's not a true 5 days. It's probably going to end up being between 7 and 8 days. If kids hadn't been vaccinated and they've been involved in that practice, then they've got to sit out for a number of days. So, we've got a couple that's not, and so, you could lose up 3 or 4. And, when we were going through that, every one of our kids tested positive. Some of them didn't even have symptoms, but they tested, and they had to sit out. So that's the reason, it came in stages. 3 or 4 got it. They were out for a number of days, and 3 or 4 more got it. They were out. So it just kept, us from having 10 kids at practice every day. It was more like 3 or 4 at practice. And there's not a lot that, that you can really get done when you just got 3 or 4 kids there.
How difficult was it in the game coming back that you won 54-50, knowing your kids the way you do, and then you're looking out and hey, they're holding up a hand, coach, I need a breather. That's make it tough to coach.
Until last year, I can't ever remember coaching a team where a kid was asking me to come out of the game. Now, I've got plenty over there on the side that say, Coach, can I go in? Can I get in? But I've never had kids ask me, and now it's just the norm. And my players will be sitting over there, and my coach is saying, hey, so-and-so needs a break. And I'm thinking, dude, what? When I played, I didn't want a coach to take me.
Never wanted to come out.
I didn't want to come out. And, now it's just common nature, especially the post players. The big kids, they have a hard time. And, DJ, didn't even play because of the heart condition. DJ didn't even get to play last year. And, every game we played this year, she's either threw up sometime during the game or had to come out. And, now we're having to play other post players, and, they can't even run 2 sprints yet. I mean, they can't even get up at the end of practice. You go 2 or 3 sprints, and they're already gasping for air. And it's not a great way to coach. Let me tell you, these last 2 years, and I know everybody else has problems with COVID, but I hate coaching like this because, to me, I'm always each week you're trying to get your team a little bit better conditioned, a little bit tougher, and a little bit more improved, a little bit more knowledge. And by the time you get to the tournament, you've built them up. And now we took a month off. We lost all the conditioning we did during the summer. And kids don't even know what we're trying to accomplish right now, where we should be right now. And so, we're so far behind, it's ridiculous. And I know other teams are, but there's some that's not. Like Troy and them that's played every game. They're progressing like they should. And we're sitting here, and we don't even have our players at practice.
Well, I think the best way to describe it was your team the first game was very gutsy.
Well, I think so. And I think that, like I say, I think the defensive part, what we teach that most people don't, I don't think do a good enough job at teaching defense. I think that gives us a lot of advantage, but it also takes a lot out of you. And then actually, we're very limited on how much each player can play. So the next night, on Saturday when we played, I'd already started rotating post player. All right, you're going to take her over there, and you're going to take one of the guards. And we had a little depth going, and I felt like we had control of the game this first half. If we've got a 7 or 8 point lead in the first half, usually we're in pretty good control. There's a lot of times, our strength and conditioning hadn't taken over until, about the third quarter, and then we start wearing teams down. With KV going and everything, I thought we had a good rotation. We had a lead, and then when she fell and got hurt, I think we lost a little concentration and lost what we were trying to accomplish.
All right, we'll take a first commercial break of the night here on the Little Rock Coaches Show. Vision with women's coach Joe Foley from the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. We're at the Embassy Suites in West Little Rock. We're here on Monday nights. We get a chance next week in particular. Come join us. We'll take a pause. Back in a moment.
Just 40 minutes from Little Rock at the Saracen. It's always fun. Craps, poker, slot machine, lots of money will be won. Come and win or come to eat, mama. Get the best steak you ever had. You want to be at the Saracen. Heck, you've seen it in this ad. Woo! Saracen. Whoa, come to win. Saracen. Come to win.
We're back here on the Little Rock Coaches Show, visiting with Trojan head coach Joe Foley. We're at the Embassy Suites. Embassy Suites in Little Rock is in the business district and minutes from the campus of the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. Embassy Suites is the official hotel of your Little Rock Trojans. Embassy Suites Little Rock, a great place to stay. They have remodeled this place last year, maybe the year before, and changed things up drastically. Really, really nice place to get a chance. And you got business partners coming in, come out to the Embassy Suites and make yourself at home. Joe Foley, your basketball team in conference play now 1-1. You had seven. That's right. I said 7 games canceled because of health issues, and it has made things really, really tough for you.
It has. We lost 3. We were supposed to play Alabama here at home, and then we were going to go to New Orleans, play in Tulane's tournament, play a couple of games before Christmas. So we lost all that, and then we come back, and then we lost our first 4 games, conference games. So, if we'd had a week where we were at least playing and not went nearly 4 weeks without practicing and playing, it might have been a little different. But the way it is, it's made it really tough for us.
All right, I'll throw this out there and give people a good example of how many games have been canceled. In the standings on the women's side, Troy is 4-1. That's who you play next. Louisiana's 3-1. Arkansas State 3-1. Texas Arlington's 3-2, as is Texas State. Little Rock, App State, and South Alabama are all 1-1. Have only played 2 conference games. Georgia Southern 2-2. Coastal Carolina is 0-3, and Louisiana Monroe is 0-5. Because that kind of paints a picture of who's had issues and who has not, supposedly.
Yeah, and I don't know on the men's side, is that running about the same? I mean, you do the men's games, are they running around the same? I know Daryl has been kind of like us right now. He's missed a lot of games. So,
Little Rock men have played fewer games than anybody on the men's side.
Yeah.
And we will talk about that. Coach Walker will join us when we take a break about at 35 minutes.
And, that's one thing, Ray. You can talk about the testing. We test and test and test.
Your job as a head coach is what's best for your players, and testing is what's best for your players.
It is, and I've had several schools. Like I say, every time our kids come back off of when they've had to sit out, and they come back, the first thing we have to do is take them to the cardio and see what happens. And we had 3 last year that didn't get to play. And every college coach I've talked to, I make it a habit now. I've asked every college coach, men or women, have you ever had a player have to sit out for heart conditions? And I haven't run into anybody yet that's had a player sit out. And I've had 3. So I don't understand it. I really don't know what's going on. But it just makes me think, what are we doing that somebody else is not doing, or what's going on, and why is it like that?
Talk a little bit about the league and who's really stood out. Of course, some teams have played 5 games, some have played 2 games. That may be hard to answer.
Well, I think there's no doubt on our side, or not on our side, but on the women's side, I think Troy is the best team. I think they've got most kids back from last year. They were a great team last year. They played a real tough schedule. They finally started doing the top schedule we've done. They played several Power 5s. Lost all of them but one of them, I think, but still they've played them. And they did go to Lafayette and get beat, but their leading scorer, I think, was out and didn't play, so that hurts. And she may have had COVID issues. I don't know. Might not be playing this week. I got my fingers crossed. But anyway, I think they're the best team. I think that they've shown that they're in good shape. I've watched film on them now, naturally, because the last couple of days, because that's who we got next. So I've got to really watch them. I think they always do a great job of running up and down the floor and offensive rebound, and they always lead not just our conference, but they usually lead the country in offensive rebounding. So I think it's a great test, and I think it's a little early for us. Like I say, I don't think we're in good enough shape to really play against a team like that, but we got to, and that's what I'm telling our kids. You got to, if you're going to, and I always stress when we start in the summer running, if you're going to be a great player and if you're going to have a great team, you got to be in great condition. I've never seen a great player that wasn't in great condition, and I've never seen a great team that wasn't in great condition. And so we've got a long ways to go in these next 5 weeks.
Trojan basketball sponsored by Pepsi, the choice of the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. We'll take a break. Back with more Little Rock Coaches Show from the Embassy Suites in West Little Rock.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. Meet new friends or reconnect with some old ones and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Step into the new with a new Chevy. Very well qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles. Plus, current competitive owners get an additional $750 bonus cash. See your Arkansas Best Chevy dealer.
Ray Tucker, along with Little Rock Trojan women's coach Joe Foley, with the Embassy Suites. For over 65 years, Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield has helped Arkansas residents. Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield, live fearless. And, Coach, your team's had to live fearless with everything that's going on. Let me run down the standings very quickly on the women's side. Troy, that you made mention a second ago, you play them on Thursday night at Troy. Beautiful Troy, Alabama, I might add.
Exactly. Looking forward to that vacation.
Yeah, yes, you are. No beaches there for you, and you can't take your golf clubs. I don't know what you're going to do. Yeah. Troy's 4-1, Louisiana's 3-1, Arkansas State also 3-1. At 3-2, it's Texas Arlington, Texas State. Little Rock's 1-1, App State 1-1, as is South Alabama. Georgia Southern 2-2, Coastal Carolina 0-3, and Louisiana Monroe is 0-5. Troy has been. You and Troy have been the elite teams in the league for a pretty good while now, and hopefully you go down there and get a win and bump them off a little bit.
Well, we'd like to, but I think it's it's highly unlikely right now. I just hate to say it, but you got to be truthful, and we're going to work at it like we're going to. But I just know the shape that we're in, the shape they are. It'll be tough. It'll be a tough game.
You expect them to press you from the get-go?
Probably so, and they always play a lot of players, so they're going to be rotating in and out. And, now we've got one post player to rotate in and out and one guard, or maybe two guards, and one of those are freshmen. So we've got about two guards. We're going to be playing about 7 people, really, from here on out. Hopefully nobody else gets hurt, and that's hard to do, but that'll pretty well be our way of going right now.
You've been in this league for an awful long time now. If you would rate the Sun Belt, women's basketball in the Sun Belt, compared to other leagues across the country.
Whew, man, it's hard right now. I would think that, looking at the SEC and Big Ten and Connecticut I think they were getting beat pretty good today by Oregon, and they've had the same problems that we've had, a lot of injuries and a lot of COVID, so they didn't get to play there for about 2 or 3 weeks. So, even on their level, it's been hard for them to be consistent. And but I think that our league right now, I think Troy can play with most teams. I think that they've showed that. They played Missouri, a really good ball game, and Missouri beat South Carolina. I think that we've shown that we played pretty good in the Power Fives in the SEC, but so I think our league is not bad. The top 2 or 3 teams, but we're only going to get one team in, and that's who wins the tournament. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, is get our kids on focusing on getting better each week and trying to peak at tournament time and see if we can't pull off a small miracle here.
Biggest changes in the women's basketball since you started?
Biggest change. Well, I guess playing quarters, going to quarters. And I've told you this story before. I was on that committee that changed it. And the first thing, me and another Division I coach, were the only 2 Division I coaches there. We were in Indianapolis and at the NCAA, and we talked about changing it. And so I said, well, the only way I'm going to vote for it is if you could get a hold of Gino and you get a hold of Pat and you get a hold of the lady at Stanford and you get a hold of the lady at Notre Dame. If they all say we'll do it, it's good for the game, then we'll do it. But if they say no, I said we don't need to be stupid enough to go out and let them come back and blast us tomorrow in the paper. So, but I think changing the quarters has really done well. I think changing the game, getting to advance the ball at the end of a ball game, I think makes it more exciting. I don't know why the men don't do that, and I think it makes it exciting and a little different. And the 5 fouls per quarter and starting it over instead of going the whole half, with 7 like the men and then 10. I think that helps out a little bit. So I think we made it, and we did all those things at that one meeting, that one year I was on the committee, and I was really surprised. But I think it's really helped the game some. And so I think that's probably the biggest changes we've had. And
we've talked about the condition of your team and missing 7 games. So the quarters actually help you out right now.
I think so. And, when I first started coaching here, I was at Arkansas Tech, and we got one time out, at 10-minute mark, and, the others. And, we won the national championship playing 7 kids, and we did it pretty well the whole year. I played that way the whole year. And in practice, I had to bring in 2 or 3 guys to practice. So, everybody pretty
That's
well.
right. He said 2 or 3 guys to practice.
Yep. And, our kids got used to playing that way. So when we got to the national tournament, everybody was substituting in NAI. You got to win 5 games in 6 days. You don't have all of these weekend games and one day in between. I mean, you just go and you play. And so, we got used to playing that way. And I'd look down, and everybody was substituting 3 or 4 kids at a time. And our kids kind of standing there looking at them. And, we just blew everybody out. So it can be done. But like I say, we started at the first year, not at the end of the year. But, I don't mind playing 7 or 8 kids. But we just got to get in shape.
I do want to do this and say special thanks to all the folks who were there this past Thursday and Saturday.
Oh, it was great. It was great. And, it just seems still a little different, with the COVID. Everybody's still not, committed to getting out, and I don't blame them, and as high as things are right now, the cases are. But, man, I'll be glad when this stuff's gone. And I know everybody else will too. So, it's just.
Little Rock Trojan basketball broadcast, by the way, is brought to you by Baptist Health. Baptist Health provides the care you need to keep you and your family amazing. For more information, visit Baptist-Health.com, Baptist-Health.com. Talk a little bit about some of your players and who's a leader on your basketball team.
Well, Kristen came back as what they're calling super seniors, and the main reason she came back is because she blew her knee out in the tournament, and in the dressing room that day, she said, "Coach, I'm coming back. I'm not ending my career like that." So it's just heartbreaking to see that happen the other night, where a kid come back specifically to play basketball and not go out. So that makes it tough. And she was our leader. She's our best percentage shooter. She'd really come on and was starting to hit the outside jump shot this year. She had hit some really good shots against us in that game, and in the games previous, I think she was starting to show, okay, my game's a little bit different this year, and I think we were going to be able to, stretch the defenses a little bit more with her, and she had really worked hard this summer, and so she's our leading rebounder and best offensive rebounder. So we lost that, and then Sally comes along, and she's a good scorer. She's got to learn how to get good shots every time, and she's got to learn how to play defense. She's a little slow. She got, those 2 knee braces. She's had some knee problems herself, not just with us, but when she was in high school, she blew her ACL out.
She looks like a bionic woman out there with those braces.
She got some braces on. It looks like she's going to fall apart if you take something off, But, she's done a pretty good job scoring-wise. Of course, our little point guard's a fireball. She loves to get up and down the floor, penetrates, makes good passes, plays great defense. So I think those 3 have really done a good job and learning, but we got to get better. And now, we got to find somebody to replace Kristen's points. She was averaging double figures, almost had a double the night before. I think she had double figures and 9 rebounds the night before on the Thursday. And so, it's hard to replace a double. I don't care what you're doing. That's hard to replace. And so we got to find somebody to step up. And, DJ's got to get in better shape. And, she didn't get to play last year, but she's capable of rebounding, can score more. So we're going to have to get more out of her. And so that's the kids that we're looking at right now to try to keep us going.
How does your routine change with as fewer players you have? And being out of shape when you travel, you go to Troy on Wednesday. You work them hard on Wednesday, or?
Won't work them as hard on Wednesday, and then on Friday you can't really work them. You watch more film and you walk through and you talk about how you're going to handle this situation, that situation. And we had to do that I learned how to do that quite a bit when we started playing on Thursdays and Saturdays, because I used to practice a little on Fridays, and, man, we'd have a lead on Saturday and sometimes lose it. And I talked with Coach Barron. He said, well, maybe you shouldn't even practice. Maybe you should just watch film and walk through. And we started doing that and having success. So, I think, like I say, the heavy part of the load's got to come on Monday and maybe Tuesday, but on Wednesday you better back off and just, go through the timing of the things and then, not have much contact. And then on Friday, just like I say, watch film and walk through, and that's your week pretty well.
Do you coaches ever get together or call each other and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, what are you doing, what do you do the day before? How do you handle practice?
I take that where I usually go to somebody that's been very successful, and, that's everywhere from I went to, nights practices, all the time. When I was younger, I'd go to nights practices.
Bobby Knight?
Yeah, and it's Krzyzewski's practices. And then, when Beard was here I started, I always go to Beard's. I went to Pat Knight practices. I went to Steve Alford practices. And when he was remember when he was at Missouri State, because he was a Knight disciple. So, I stayed within my philosophy, but there's always different ways of doing things. And, I always ask Coach, over there. I've asked, Steve. I always ask Steve, how he's doing things. And Coach Walker, and I will say Coach Walker and Steve both are great people to work with. I've learned a lot. I'll go out and watch them practice and see what they're doing a lot of times. And so I think that, if you're going to be successful, you got to read and watch successful people. That's always been my philosophy. I tell kids all the time, I don't care if you're going to coach or be a nurse or doctor or whatever, you better study people that are successful in your field and understand why they're successful for you to be successful. And I think that's the way you get there, is about emulating people that's had a lot of success, worked. And I haven't seen a book yet that from somebody that's successful that hard work wasn't the main factor. It's always been the main factor.
Anybody that attends UL's practices, and I'm not encouraging people to attend now, but with the COVID,
I love to have people
with the COVID situation. Though.
Oh, yeah, I understand
But if anybody goes to your practice, Daryl Walker's practice, you guys spend most of your time teaching. You love to teach.
We do. And that, to me, that's the most successful thing, is getting out there and showing a kid how to do something. Look, hey, this is what's probably going to happen. That's what practice is for, is prepare you for what probably is going to happen when you're in a game and you do this and you do that, and you're smart enough to know this is the way it's probably how they're going to react to it. And now that's, to me, that's what's called being a step ahead of the play. The kids that have to see it develop and happen and then try to react to it, they're not going to be successful. I've heard a lot of NBA college coaches too, but NBA say the people that's going to be successful on this level are the people that can anticipate. You can be, everybody on that level is great athletes, great player, or great shooters, great something. But the people that can anticipate what's going to happen are going to be your best players.
You've got your hands full, Coach.
I've got my hands full.
Not any doubt about that.
Yep.
And I know what you normally do. You play a really tough non-conference schedule, play Power Fives to toughen you up for conference.
Well, anyway. when you go 2-2 in the SEC, and you kind of get your hopes. Okay, this may be the team, and then all this happens. It kind of puts a little dagger in your heart.
Joe Foley, best of luck as you travel down to Troy on Wednesday. Get us a win, and we'll see you again next Monday night.
Thank you, Ray Tucker. Thank you, guys.
Trojan head coach Joe Foley and Daryl Walker will join us as we come back. Little Rock Coaches Show. We're at the Embassy Suites in West Little Rock.
It's time to expect more from yourself, from us, from the typical college experience. UA Little Rock offers world-class programs, including business, computer science, criminal justice, cybersecurity, engineering, and nursing. But there's so much more. Expect to be amazed by state-of-the-art facilities. Expect to be challenged by motivated faculty. And expect a welcome place in the heart of Arkansas. University of Arkansas at Little Rock.
We are back at the Embassy Suites in West Little Rock Coaches Show. Diving in right now, good friend Daryl Walker, whom I've known for many, many years.
Since I was 19.
Yeah, since
you don't want to hear that, do you, Ray?
Yeah, that's no big deal. You have not played in a week and a half now, so we don't have games to dissect and do that. And so I may I'll talk about the league standings, et cetera, and the games coming up. May take you in another direction and kind of dissect your career as a basketball player and in the pros and being a head coach in the NBA. Some things that people don't normally hear you talk about. So we'll do this. You last played at Monroe. We were at Lafayette a week ago, Saturday, I guess
right,
it was.
Yes.
Game got canceled. We had 2 games against Arkansas State this past week. Both of those were canceled because of COVID issues. So where do you stand with your team right now?
Well, we have everybody back right now, and For the first time, we had a full bunch of guys to practice the last couple of days, have 2 good days of practice. So they're all back for now.
All of them are back
for now.
Back for now.
Except, Ethan's out. Of course, D.A. is out, and Chris Walker's out for the year.
Okay, so Chris is not going to
play.
No. I knew once you got to the conference play, if he hadn't played, there's no sense in burning a year.
He's out, and Ethan's out, and D.A. is out. So you're talking about 3 guys who's probably going to play a good significant minutes for us. It's out.
Never played.
All
right, on the men's side of things, Troy in conference play is 3-1 off to a 3-1 start. Arkansas State 2-1, as is Texas State. App State and Texas Arlington, who's in here on Saturday, UTA are both 4-2. Louisiana's 3-2. Our Trojans are 1-1. South Alabama 2-2. Louisiana Monroe 2-4. Georgia Southern 1-3. Coastal Carolina 1-4. And Georgia State, who was the preseason favorite to win the league, is 0-2. They've only played 2 games, just like you have.
Right. Well, it's going to be difficult. Every coach is going through this. I talked to Bob Marlin when we were down in Lafayette, apologizing about the game. He said, "No need to apologize. It's just been a crazy season, and we couldn't play the game." So this is going to go on all year. I keep telling people this is worse than last year, and nobody's paying attention to it. But it's worse than last year, Ray. It really is.
I don't know who the person is, a mathematician or whomever, is going to figure this out when the league has played its final game, and we're going to the tournament. Somebody's going to figure out who's seated where.
No, that's the commissioner and his people over there in New Orleans. That's his job to do that. My concern is right now, see if we can take care of home and win 2 games at home and be, sitting here at 3-1 or 2-1 at home. It'd be great to be 3-1.
All right, this week you have 2 home games, hopefully. Thursday night you got Texas State coming in here, and they've been playing pretty well.
Yeah, they're a good basketball team, and they've went through some COVID issues with some of their best players being out, and that's why they lost some basketball games. So everybody's basically playing Russian roulette to a certain extent, because you never know who's going to be out there, who's going to play. Very good basketball team. Coach Johnson was coach of the year last year. Really good basketball team. We owe them one. They beat us last year 4 times, and it's time for us to get a little payback come Thursday.
I think Harrell is still there. Am I correct?
Yeah,
on
he's
that?
a good player.
When Josh Higgins was playing for the Trojans, everybody, how many years is that guy going to play? Same holds true with Harrell.
No, he's there. He's there, and he's a really good basketball player, and he's the head of the snake, and we're going to do a good job on him.
That game, by the way, is a 6:30 game, and then on Saturday you play Texas. Arlington comes in here, and it's a 2:00 game, a Saturday afternoon game for everybody.
Well, that's a quick turnaround. We'll play Thursday. Hopefully, knock on wood, we play Thursday, and after the game, Lord knows I'll probably get home about 1:00 after that, sit down there and watch some film and get ready for UT Arlington, because it's a quick turnaround game.
All right, I have one thing I want to accomplish before this year's over with you. I want you to start calling it video.
What do I call it?
Film.
Yeah, well, I'm old school. It's film.
When you were playing for Coach Sutton, you were watching film.
Yeah, and I still call it film. I mean, this new generation call it video. I thought video was video games. I'm watching film.
Hey, the new generation doesn't even refer to it.
I don't think Bill Belichick is talking about he's getting ready to watch some video. He's ready to watch some film. I guarantee you that.
All right. You've got Texas Arlington coming in here. In one stretch, they were playing pretty darn good.
They're still playing good.
Yeah, so these are – I know you play them one at a time, but these are 2 tough games.
These are 2 tough games, and if we can protect home and get out of here with 2 wins and be sitting there at, I believe, 3-1, we'll be right in the thick of things. And that's what I've been telling my team. Let's take 1 game at a time. Let's protect home. You can find yourself in first, second, or third place in the conference real fast.
Instead of having 3 games in a row at home, you've got 2 at home. Next week, and putting the cart before the horse here, then you make the swing. You play Coastal Carolina and South Carolina, and then go over to North Carolina and play App State.
My favorite trip, Ray, to go to App State. I'm real excited about that. Why'd you have to even bring that up?
You know what? Here's my first trip to App State, and you can relate to this, was just like back when you were playing and you made that drive from Fort Smith to Fayetteville up Highway 71, and you come over the mountain, and here's this little quaint little town.
Yeah.
And that reminds me a lot of what Fayetteville used to look like.
Yeah, well, Fayetteville's definitely different than when we were in school and when you were doing games. Ray, and App State's a nice little campus, but it's a tough little drive. But the drive is not as bad as 71, to be honest about it, because 71 is just it's a bad drive. I didn't think it was a bad drive when I was 19, 20 years old trying to get out the mountains to come to Little Rock and hang out. But now, if I've gotten older, you couldn't pay me to take that route again.
I can tell you this about going. I can tell you this about going to App State. When we first started going there, when they joined the league, you go over the mountains, and if you ran off the edge of the road, you were gone.
That was it.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with Highway 71 going up to Fayetteville to the University of Arkansas. So I think the drive to App State is way better than going up 71.
I asked Joe Foley this question here. Rate the Sun Belt as a basketball league compared to other conferences around the league. Country, excuse me.
It's always been a good basketball league. It's always been a good basketball league. Steve Shields and all the coaches was here. It's always been a competitive league. Somebody wants to somebody wants to turn it into a football league, which is never going to be a football league. It's going to always be a basketball league. So it's always been well respected.
Bale Chevrolet is the top seller of new and used Chevrolets in Little Rock. Bale Chevrolet, a proud partner of our Little Rock Trojans. Again, we're at the Embassy Suites. We do this every Monday night throughout the conference play. And your team, health-wise, we talked about that a second ago. Folks,
knock on wood. You just never know, Ray. The Grim Reaper, Andrew Keegley, could come in, our athletic trainer. I call him the Grim Reaper, and he's we're lucky to have him. Hopefully we can keep him around because he's really good. He walks in my office, I don't know what he's going to say. It could be like, you got 3 guys out with COVID, or this person tested COVID, or this guy is hurt. So it's just been that type of year. I
mean, you take his job, and he's the guy that tests everybody. And so, to my knowledge, I don't think Drew's had COVID.
He tests himself every day before he comes in. He tested all the guys, everybody down in Lafayette, and I was worried that he may get it, but he's covered up well, and he hasn't caught it yet. Lucky for him.
Yeah, we're like you said, we're lucky to have him.
He's a good trainer.
This week in the Sun Belt, here are the games on Thursday night. App State is at Georgia State. Coastal Carolina is at Georgia Southern. Our Trojans are hosting Texas State, as we talked about. Troy is at Louisiana Monroe. Texas Arlington's at Arkansas State, and they'll be in here on Saturday. South Alabama is at Louisiana. I think maybe the surprise in this right now is Georgia State. I think probably Joe Lenardi, when the basketball season started, had them as Sun Belt champions. Other folks had
the same Joe Lenardi that did put Memphis in.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. And Georgia State's here. They sit 0-2.
Yeah, well, it's funny. All these people pick who's going to win the conference, and I always laugh, and I always hope they pick us last. Every year I hope they pick us last because you never know what somebody's team's going to look like until the game start. You don't know. You read about who they signed, but you don't know how good those players are. And I've never understood how guys can try to guess and do that.
Talk just a second about recruiting. I know you can't name names or exceptions, but you guys are still out on the road looking for talented guards.
Yeah, Coach Baker and I were down in Fort Walton. We went to Atlanta first to spend some time with the young man's parents and had a good time with them. Got up the next morning, went to Fort Walton and watched practice and was able to visit with him after the game. So we got a good chance to get this player. Is really, really, really good guard, can go off the dribble, and we need some guards that can go off the dribble. So we're recruiting. We got trust me, we're on top of some good basketball players again. And we got some here. They just been hurt.
And you signed somebody early, right? No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did. We signed a kid out of the junior college, about 6'11". Last name was Mohammed. Recruiting never stops, Ray. That's nonstop.
I'm peeking here. We're about a minute from a break.
Okay.
I want to say a special thanks to Todd Pierce, who is our producer back in the studio tonight, who makes my job a lot easier when he gives you countdowns and etc. So always nice to have Todd with us. This week's game, Texas State. They're
good.
They will push it. They will get it up and down the floor.
It's good. They're very physical. What we've been doing in practice the last 2 or 3 days is basically I've been telling my guys to basically almost borderline foul your guy and hold them in practice. We've been doing that at least 30 minutes a day. They're a very physical basketball team, and when that ball goes up Thursday, we got to be ready to play.
Big guy that burned us 2 years ago real bad went off on us. Well, I'm trying to think of his
Pearson?
No, not Nigel. Big kid, 6'7", 6'8".
He transferred.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
He transferred to James Madison.
All right, I'm glad he's gone. We're not gone. We'll be back with another segment of Little Rock Coaches Show from the Embassy Suites right after this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simmons Bank, for your support of Little Rock Trojans volleyball,
Women's track and field and cross country,
Women's golf. Women's soccer.
Women's basketball.
Thank you, Simmons Bank, for your support of Little Rock Trojan women's swimming and diving.
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans.
We're back with the final segment this week of the Little Rock Coaches Show, visiting with Trojan head coach Daryl Walker, coaches the men's team. Joe Foley was with us earlier this evening. Your basketball team, let's talk about maybe leadership. Who's your leaders on this team? I asked Coach Foley the same thing.
Well, right now I think Nicola has really taken on a very I'm surprised the jump that he has made in 3 years to really be a vocal guy on and off the court, and I'm really proud of he's taken on a big leadership role in this basketball team, and he should because he's an older guy.
You were without C.J. White for 6-7 games. Came back, knocked down some big shots, and saw some more playing time last game.
Well, right now I see a progression of C.J. really playing better basketball. Hopefully he can continue to do that. He's one of our most skilled guys on our team. Can shoot the ball, can put the ball on the floor, excellent passer, good size. But I didn't see that last year, Ray. You didn't see it and didn't see it in the beginning of the year, and I was a little frustrated with him. But he got hurt. He came back. Seemed like he had a different mindset, man, and he's been playing well.
He took a big tumble at Missouri State and landed on his tailbone and was out for a good while.
I thought he was going to be done for the year, to be honest.
I did too.
It was a cracked tailbone. And this past season, he had a real bad ankle injury, set out and missed a bunch of basketball games. But when he came back, his numbers are really good in the last 2 games we played. He's played well.
All right, your routine day before the game and day of the game.
Day before the game, we practice and we go over live and practice everything that the opposing team is going to do. I'm big on doing that. We went over some of Texas State stuff today. We'll go over it tomorrow, and then we'll go over it again Wednesday, everything that they do offensively and defensively. Day of the game, walk through, kind of go over their stuff again, really go over our stuff, Ray, make sure we're running our stuff good, and go upstairs and get on that nice leather couch and take a nap before you come in and do the pregame show with me.
You do. Every coach has a routine of some kind.
I've always had one.
I can reflect back when Porter Moser was the coach, and the first time I went in the locker room at what was then Alltel Arena, and he's on the training table meditating.
Well, no, I'm not doing that.
And the light was off, and I went, Coach, are you in here? Are you in here?
No, I get a pregame meal and usually get on the couch and take a little nap, get up and watch some college basketball, and set my clock on my phone and say Ray Tucker will be in here soon, and get up and put my clothes on and be ready for you, Ray, when you come in.
All right, Coach. We need some folks in the seats on Thursday and Saturday.
We need some folks in the seats all the time. I mean, I think Coach Foley and I have put together some good teams the last 3 or 4 years, and I know winning helps bring people out, but it's these kids have played hard. It'd be nice to have some people in the stands.
Graduation, you got guys going to graduate this year?
Yeah, Nicola's going to graduate. Who else is going to graduate? C.J. White's probably going to have enough credits to graduate, and Kevin's probably going to have enough credits to graduate. So, and 6 years of being a college coach, I've only had one guy that hasn't graduated from college, so that makes me proud. My guys always graduate. I make sure of that.
We have an excellent advisor that sometimes we go on the road, travels with the ball club, and make sure these guys take care of business.
Yeah, Andrea comes on. She comes on the road with us to make sure we have study hall. I tell my guys all the time, you're student athletes, and my wife gets mad when I tell them everybody's not going to play in the NBA. It's only 400-something jobs. You have to be one of the 400 best players in the world to play in the NBA, and everybody's not going to do that, Ray. That's just reality. So I try to get my guys ready for the real world.
Nicola missed a number of games.
Too many.
Yeah, his health still somewhat of an issue?
Yeah, his health is a little bit of an issue. He had COVID real bad in Lafayette. I mean, he caught it and had it really bad.
And that's the second time he's had it.
The second time he's had it. You have to go to the heart doctor. He hasn't been cleared yet. He's been cleared, but they saw something they didn't like, so he's going to go back Wednesday to really get cleared. And if he's not cleared Wednesday to play Thursday, it's back to the drawing board again. That's not good for us.
Trojan basketball is sponsored by Pepsi, the choice of the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. We're here at the Embassy Suites. I'd like to remind folks we're here on Monday evenings at 7 o'clock, and we have a live audience. Folks,
got some cold beer.
They do?
Yes.
Well, I'll find one when we get through here. You kind of caught me off guard there, Coach.
It's the truth, though.
Yeah. And the folks that are here tonight are regulars.
They're some of the most loyal people. Even before I became the coach, these people have been supporting the team for a long time, and we need more people like them to come out and support the team. That would be great.
You know, they were asking me earlier when I started with the Trojans, and I came from Tulsa to Channel 11 back in 1984 and started doing the TV games with my friend Max Morgan, and have done radio, TV, covered them, whatever, since 1984.
Wow.
And so I am very disappointed that we're leaving the Sun Belt, but we'll see what we can do in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Hey, we're leaving the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt has been great. Arkansas Little Rock has really had some great history in the Sun Belt, done a lot of great things here, but sometimes you got to move on. You got to go somewhere where you want it. We're very much wanted in the OVC, and I'm looking forward to the challenge, and so is Coach Foley in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Talk about some of the teams in that league.
Hey, you got Murray State. Unfortunately, they'll be leaving us. Belmont going to be leaving us, and I think Austin Peay is going to be leaving us. So it's going to be Morehead State, Tennessee Tech, Tennessee State, Southeast Missouri. It's Eastern Illinois, some places rated we haven't been before. It's going to be tough to get to Eastern Illinois. I think that's in Charleston, Illinois. And I'm a Chicago boy. I don't even know where Eastern Illinois is, Ray.
Southeast Missouri, is that Cape Girardeau?
That's Cape Girardeau. That's close to St. Louis. Real close to St. Louis, matter of fact. Yeah.
I've been to Cape Girardeau before.
I think it's SIU Atwellsville, too.
And I think former Arkansas State coach Dickie Nutt was at Southeast.
Yeah, he was.
Southeast Missouri at one time.
He was.
So
it's a good conference. It's been around a long time.
So I know Belmont's going to Missouri Valley.
I think Murray State is going to the ASUN or to the.
Okay.
I think they may be going to the Missouri Valley. I'm not sure, but they're leaving.
All right, I'd like to remind folks that the games this week, the men play Thursday night at 6:30 here at the Jack Stevens Center. We'll be back there Saturday afternoon to take on Texas Arlington. So two good Texas teams. College football has wrapped up. You don't have any excuse to sit home and sit all day and watch college football.
No, come out and see us play.
Yeah, come out and watch our guys play.
Well, we need some people in the stands. I keep saying that. It energizes us so much. Even when we only get between 1,500 and 2,000 in there. When we're on a run, that place gets very loud. Just imagine if you had 3,000 or 4,000 people there every night, how loud it would be. It's a loud place.
It is very loud. Thursday night games around the league. App State's at Georgia State. Georgia Southern hosts Coastal Carolina. Those teams are pretty close together, so those are rivalry games with those folks. We've got Texas State, as we said. Troy is at ULM. UTA is at Arkansas State. And South Alabama is at Louisiana. Folks, that's going to wrap up this week's show. We appreciate you listening. Appreciate all you folks in the live audience here tonight. And all we know to say, Coach, is go Trojans.
Go Trojans.
Thank you for watching the Little Rock Basketball Coaches Show presented by Stevens.